Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Hat and Beard, and it's preseason week number 1 for the Lions. At 6 o'clock Friday night, we're squaring off against Atlanta. And I, for one, can't friggin' wait. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 things to watch in the Lions preseason week 1. Let's go.
Welcome to Detroit.
Man, I am so glad y'all are here to watch this shit just unfold. Alright, any of you who are watching this already know the Lions are heading into their preseason week 1, and all the hype is following Detroit. Vegas has us at a 6.5 over and under, and I think we're just going to completely blow that out of the water, as I stated in my last video. I have us winning between 9 and 12 games, because why not? Why not? Why not us? Why not us? Well, that starts with week 1 in the preseason. Let's get after a few things that we need to watch in preseason week 1. The first thing I'm looking forward to is watching the regression or progression of our young, skilled position players. I'd like to make sure that DeAndre Swift is ready to go, but I think they're going to keep him on a step count, rightfully so, as he has yet to be able to maintain his health for a whole season. What I'm really watching for out of the running back room is the progression of Craig Reynolds, arguably our number 3, potentially even number 2 back, depending on how injuries go. But we all know last year Netflix burst onto the scene and became a fan favorite. I mean, he's very productive. He's a hard, angry runner, which I appreciate. Again, another one of those Dan Campbell guys that we're all so high on. But I'd like to make sure that he's got, you know, the burst, the ability, that he's not going to drop off after last year, that we, have something with him, that we have something with Jamar Jefferson. I want to make sure that our running back room has a good amount of depth, because as previously stated, DeAndre Swift has yet to prove that he can stay healthy through now a 17-game regular season, especially with the production that we put him through. I mean, last year for the first half of the season, we were basically the Detroit Hawk and Swifts, where it was either throw to Hawk or throw to DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. Fantasy players loved it. He was highly productive. So far in his career, I think that he has shown that he's more of a receiving back. But if you look at his, metrics and the way the man runs, he is a highly efficient runner when he's got a lane. And I think this year with our offensive line, we're going to have just wide open lanes for him and Jay Willie to run through. I expect us to be a run-first team if that works out for us, because I've seen some people projecting Jared Goff to have over 5,500 yards, which is, doable. But if Jared Goff is throwing for 5,500 yards, that means we're playing from behind 90% of the game. So what I want to see is the progression and regression out of our skilled players. What I really want to know is Amon-Ra St. Brown that guy? You know what I'm saying? Because last year, he finished the back end of the season as one of the most productive wide receivers in the NFL. In fact, I think if you compile his numbers across the back half of the season and project them onto the first half of the season, he would have been like a top 5 wide receiver in the league. We know, though, that skilled players burst onto the scene and then fall back really quick, as opposed to, like, say, Penei Sewell, right? We know that Penei Sewell's had a monster offseason. We are expecting outstanding production out of the offensive line and Penei Sewell. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if he's our best offensive lineman. Frank Ragnow's that dude, yo. I think our offensive line is going to be super well positioned this year, considering Penei has this whole offseason to become more accustomed to playing the right tackle position, and Taylor Decker will have had a full offseason. He'll be nice and healthy, refreshed, good to go. I think our offensive line is going to be the strong point of our offense, but I don't think it's going to be the most flashy. We're going to get a lot of talk about Swift's production. I think we'll get a lot of talk, especially after J-Mo comes back, over our wide receiver room production, because, let's be honest, Antoine Randall is a phenomenal wide receivers coach, and look at what we were able to do with the players that we had last year. Granted, the first half of the season with Anthony Lynn calling the shots was absolute garbage, and then after he was fired, there was a few things that went into it. Anthony Lynn was removed from offensive calling duties. Ben Johnson was promoted to essentially offensive coordinator, calling the plays with Dan Campbell. And we brought in Josh Reynolds, someone who Jared Goff was obviously comfortable throwing the ball to. This whole offseason, Jared Goff has been way more comfortable in the offense. So I would like to see a more confident Jared Goff. I don't think we're going to see a lot of him preseason week 1, which I'm fine with, because we don't need to risk Jared Goff getting dinged up, nicked, anything, man, because our quarterback room is hot garbage. Boyle sucks. As much as everybody likes David Blau, he ain't that guy, man. He just ain't that guy. I would have loved us to have drafted like a Sam Howell in the 4th round, but we didn't, and I'm fine with that. I would have liked to, but I'm fine with it. So the second thing I'm looking to watch is the production of our defensive front 4. We'll roll it into the front 7. I think that with our defensive scheme, you're going to see a lot of pressure from linebackers, so to say we're just a front 4 with dropping our linebackers back into coverage is a little bit of a stretch. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of Charles Harris, a lot of Julian Okwara coming off the edge in blitz packages. I mean, those are what those guys are good at. But what I'd like to see in preseason week 1, now again, this is hinging upon whether Hutch plays or not. If Hutch plays, I want to see what Hutch plays, how Hutch plays, the speed he plays at, and the production that we get, even if it's preseason week 1. Atlanta's running their ones. I want to see how our defense stacks up against their offensive number 1s. I said it in the last video. I think Okuda's poised to have comeback player of the year size numbers.
What the hell is that? What is your motto here?
Like I said, I want to see Hutch and how his production is. Obviously, Zach Pascal's, he's hurt, not going to be back for a little bit. Would have liked to have seen how he is utilized in our offense or in our defense, because I think him and Hutch are going to be kind of moved around a little bit. The other thing I want to know is our 2 picks last year, Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike. Do they take that next step? They were decent last year, but they were rookies, and it showed at times. Do they progress forward the way that we need them to progress forward, or do they regress the way that, well, let's be honest, 70% of players tend to regress after a season or 2. That's why we see such a high turnover in the league. I'm thinking we see big things out of both of them. A lot of reports coming out of camp talking about Levi Onwuzurike's off season, and how he just really put his nose down and went to work, and I'm happy to hear that. Aleem McNeil, I've actually been a big fan of him since we drafted him. I think he's sweet. I think he's sneaky sweet, dude. The third thing I'm looking to watch in the Lions preseason week 1 against Atlanta is how obviously our rookies stack up. There's not going to be J-Mo. There's not going to be Mitchell. Obviously, those guys are hurt. There's not going to be Pascal. He's hurt. How does our rookie class, though, stack up? Are we continuing to buy into the Brad Holmes knows what he's doing? This class will be a huge leverage point into whether or not Brad Holmes knows what he's doing or not. Last year's class would say that he is. So far, the hype around this year's class says that he is. I'd like to see, how well Kirby Joseph is adapting to the speed of the league, and can he potentially even come in and be a starter opposite, like Deshaun Elliott, because Tracy Walker's good. Deshaun Elliott can't stay healthy. We need a third safety. There has to be a third safety in rotation. Can Kirby Joseph come right in, be that dude? He's big, lanky, physical. I think he can. I like what I've seen on the tape of him coming out of college. I like what I've heard about him in camp so far. I think the dude's hyper talented. But is he a practice player or is he a baller? You know what I'm saying? And that same tag I throw on Malcolm Rodriguez. Malcolm Rodriguez is having a monster camp. The dude can thump. He's got a motor the fucking size of Oklahoma. He likes to make plays. He's out there in practice playing with his hair on fire. I love to see it. Again, Dan Campbell guy. But does that translate? He's a rookie. Has yet to be proven. Last year, a lot of the similarities with Derek Barnes. Clearly, Derek Barnes came in and produced. He knew what he was doing. He was able to translate what he was doing in practice into game speed. Was Derek Barnes perfect? No. Was any of our linebackers perfect? No. Can they be perfect? No. Am I expecting him to be perfect? Hell no. But can Malcolm Rodriguez come in and play, be productive, be one of those guys, those interchangeables, those Jalen Reeves-Maben type players that we had last year? You know what I'm saying? Where you can just plug and play. Can the man be productive as a rookie coming into the game, not being a set starter? On the topic of the linebackers, that brings us to my fourth thing to watch, and that is the entire linebacking room.
Wait, well, why? No.
I know in the last video I was a little hype about the linebackers because I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Our linebacking room is our weak point of our defense, right? I mean, we have no superstar. Closest thing we got to that is Charles Harris. I'm not saying Charles Harris is bad. He's actually kind of underrated. Last year we seen Anzalone out of position a lot. The man just gets out of position periodically. It's almost as if he didn't quite know what he was supposed to be doing. But maybe that'll change after having a second year. Maybe Derek Barnes elevates the linebacking class, because we all know how high I am on Derek Barnes. What I really want to see, though, in week 1 out of our linebacking room, what I talked about last time, Malcolm Rodriguez, our rookie. I also want to know, is Julian Okwara that dude? Because I think Julian Okwara can be that dude. But just because I think he can be that dude doesn't mean he's going to be that dude. But I need to see him being that dude. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Trust me.
And finally, the fifth thing that I want to look for, it's going to be hard to actually watch it in preseason week 1 because we know that most teams, and I think the Lions are going to be one of them, they're going to run a real vanilla offense, man. You don't want to show too much. You don't want to show what you're about. I mean, we know that we're going to be about running the ball. That's to be expected. But you don't want to be seeing them, pulling out all the trick plays, going hardcore, being them 4-0 preseason champs. I guess 3-0 now. I'm just old as hell. But, we don't want to be preseason champs again anymore. That shit's embarrassing. So what I want to see out of our offense is with Ben Johnson now being the man, being that dude, being that dude. Does Ben Johnson continue to progress where he left off last year? And what I want to know is, does Ben Johnson pick up where he left off, or do we see the same first half season lines that we seen last year? Dull, lame Anthony Lynn ball, dude. Just lame ball, man. Lame, small. Playing small ball. I don't like playing small ball. Ben Johnson likes to throw the ball down the field. We were able to do that last year with Josh Reynolds. It's crazy to think that Josh Reynolds was the guy opening up our offense, but he was. And now you actually bring in some actual deep threats. DJ Shark is being paid $10 million this year, basically to run his ass down the field and get open. That's it. You and J-Mo are there to stretch the field, right? You guys stretch that field. You open up all the underneath stuff. You open up the field to Swift out of the backfield. You open up the field for Hawk to terrorize the middle. You open up the field for our X-Factor player to do what he does best. Amon-Ra St. Brown catching the ball, coming across the field, and he's the Yak King, dude. Everyone's like, well, Amon-Ra's just like Golden Tate. Bah. Amon-Ra is not like Golden Tate. Amon-Ra is like Hines Ward, my man. So what I want to see is if our ones play, what kind of offense we're calling. Are we playing aggressive? Are we playing small ball? Is it vanilla? Is it scripted? Right? I want to know what kind of offense Ben Johnson's got cooking up in the old pressure cooker there. All right, guys, that's 5 things to look for in the Lions preseason game. Again, that's Friday night at 6 o'clock. Probably check your local Fox listings if you are a local guy. If not, you're probably screwed. But before we sign off, I'd like to leave a question to you guys, and feel free to drop your comment down below with an answer. Do you want to see the ones even play? Yes or no? And if so, if your answer is yes, how much do you want to see them play? Do you want to see them play a full quarter? Or do you want to see them run like 12 scripted plays and then get out and make way for the guys trying to make the roster? What is it you're looking for Friday night against Atlanta? Let me know in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.